Thank you so much. And it's lovely to have you with me. And thank you for joining me for this month's Guru Code podcast. This is where we decode the topics raised in the previous month's monthly musings of the Hygge Heart. And the topic for our debrief today is borrowed vision. This was August publication. Each publication, if you're new, is delivered by email directly to your inbox on the last Sunday of the month. So that means that this month's monthly musings and publication will drop into email boxes on the 25th. So you've still got time, and you're very welcome to come and join me and other thought leaders and receive your future copies. But you'd have to go over to my website, which is https://theguruco.co.uk and sign up to the monthly musings. As always, the topics that are chosen are those which many business owners and leaders are reluctant to speak about openly in public, or they find that there's limited platforms and forums for such discussions. And both of those things have been my experience in the past, and hence the development of the monthly musings and this debrief. It's so that we can get them out there and expose them and have somewhere that we can just feel confident that we can discuss openly, think about freely, and change our perspectives. So, where are we going to start? Well, let's start with blazing a trail. If you were honest, and I mean really honest, that's what we all want to do. It's certainly what I want in my business. I make no bones about it. Before you raise from your seat and say, that's just pure arrogance, or my God, that's conceited or egotistical, it all comes down to the question, for what purpose do you want to blaze that trail? Doesn't it? If you think about it. So what does blazing a trail mean? To show a mark, trail marks on trees, to be the first one to do or show others how to do it. It comes right back to the 17th century, or 16th century, I suppose I ought to say, 1770 and possibly before. It was the first early way or form of mapping where you've been and how and which direction to go in. Blazes are left on trees, literally dictating direction of travel, and each blaze would be specific to you, pertinent to you, unique to you, a bit like a thumbprint, I suppose. And you see, my greatest values that I hold in my business is to make the most out of this life, squeeze every last drop of juice from that lemon, showing others they can do the same, to inspire people, business owners, leaders to do the same. No one should live a half life. I spent 26 years looking and watching people through mental health services and organisations on the hospital wings and wards who'd all lived semi-lives, half-lives, not quite completed their lives. And then when you look at sort of the 5 regrets of the dying, you think, oh, I just don't want to be there. No one should be there. We only get really one good pass at this. So you may be one of the millions who are inadvertently following someone else's blaze and borrowing their vision. I know I did for years. You know, you just follow that path because you're doing it for somebody else. And in the monthly musings, I spoke of my clients' descriptions of feeling trapped or suffocated by their success and the path that they were on. And this really resonated with me because quite often I hear people say, and it was true for me, you know, I want to prove something to somebody else, not even myself. It was just prove that I could do it because of what other people have said. And that is so familiar. You know, they said that I would always be a failure. I'll show them. Do it for you. This doesn't mean I don't, as much as I'm saying this, it doesn't mean that I suggest that you throw away everything you've got now to start again. That's not what this is about. It's about recognizing what you can and what you do want to change. So you start literally just changing small things, the direction you want to go, bringing in things that will enhance where you're at the moment. It's that nature nurturing cultural domestication that we've all been through that most of us who land up in traditional roles, nurse, doctor, I don't know, carpenter, plumber, whatever it is, solicitor, HR person, teacher. Oh, I could just go on and on and on. The whole education system that we culturally have grown up with is structured to maintain that. And to look at careers, you've got to look at careers advice and the topics that we study, biology and sciences and things like that, that it's no wonder we fall into those normal, in inverted commas, pathways. So when we look at vision, consider the books that we've read, the films that we watch, the things that are produced. These are the things that just come on our screen. They just come under our nose. We're all adopting and consuming other people's visions continuously. This is not because we've been brutally and miserably brought up. This is just what we have. Now, the way I describe recognizing that you're blazing, whether or not you're blazing your own trail, was that in the face of full cobwebs. How can I put it? When you see yourself, you go on an early morning walk, okay? Because that's what I do. And you often find yourself walking through endless cobwebs. You get that absolute face full, don't you, of slightly wet cobwebs with the dew. It's the right time of year for it, isn't it? But this tells you that you're the first person to walk that path, maybe for several hours, maybe days, who knows? And if you're really lucky, maybe months. But that's just like it is in business. When we're going along in business and we're finding our way, we're making our path and we're doing our thing. It's like those obstacles, the things that we don't like, the challenges, the things that feel uncomfortable are often like those cobwebs. They're things where we're passing through for the first time. And it's not a bad thing. It should almost be celebrated because it's a sign that we're doing what we should be doing. So many individuals are forced back when they feel this unpleasant nature and feelings of, and they just never get any further because they dislike it so much and they don't want to keep doing it and feeling like that. And these will be the people who have the borrowed vision. They will look for the path which is already cleared, that has been passed on recently. It's where the certainty lies. It's where predictability lies. And those who go through those cobwebs do it in their own way. Just because somebody else maybe have walked through there yesterday, they still go through it doing what they're doing because they're growing. And they'll always do it their own way. They won't be doing it because they're chasing somebody else. That's not what this is all about. They'll be doing it because it will lead them to their vision. Now, I suggested to my subscribers to help them break through these cobwebs. A simple but very powerful exercise can be done. I call it mirror gazing. And that saying that the eyes can't lie? Well, your eyes are possibly the one thing on your body or in your body that has remained virtually unchanged since birth. They are the window to your soul, and they always have been. That's where all the learning has gone in. It's where you have absorbed so much information about what's right and what's wrong and, what you like to see and what floats your boat sort of thing. Now, when I was doing my training as an NLP trainer, we did the most amazing exercise. Now, I am an introvert. Naturally, I'm an introvert. So doing these types of exercises are alien. And actually, if I'd been given a choice and I wasn't following what I wanted to do, I'd probably have turned around. It would have been that cobweb moment. But we did this exercise where all delegates, and just remember that they're relative strangers to me because we're on a training course, were asked to stand toe to toe. Literally, our toes had to touch. We weren't barefoot, by the way. We did have shoes on. But yeah, toe to toe. So there's no personal space, which is tough for an introvert, I can tell you. But we had to stand there in silence, looking into each other's eyes without saying anything at all. I mean, to start with, there were some really silly giggles and embarrassed sort of mutterings and things like that, whilst the room started to sort of fall silent, really. It was quite interesting. It was a Mexican wave, but backwards. You know, you can feel the silence and people settling. And we stood in this room quite motionless. And we were told until we felt a connection, we couldn't say anything. And I thought, I don't know how this is going to work. I really don't see how this is going to work. And I stood there and all of a sudden, you just had this sense of calmness. And when you saw them, when you had that connection, the only thing we were allowed to say is, I see you. Oh, whoa. It was quite something to experience. Slightly uncomfortable, slightly vulnerable, and at the same time, a real feeling of freeing up. It's almost sort of a real personal moment. Now, I think we can recreate that. I know we can't do it because we're not toe-to-toe with somebody, but I want you to do it with yourself. And I've conjured this up because I think actually we are strangers to ourselves. A lot of us have never really spent any real time looking at who we are. So that's why I wanted to create this, and I think it's well worth it. I shared it in my monthly musings, but I want you to try and experience it for yourself. I want you to take a mirror, go into the bathroom, go to your dressing table, get your hand mirror out, sit in the car. If you're in the car park, sit in the car, put down the flap, turn the middle mirror around, and sit and really look into your eyes. Only your eyes is what we want to really see. And you know, when you're asked in interviews, that horrible big question where you think, when they say, and it throws you sideways, doesn't it? It's like, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? And you go, well, I'm and we come out with an awful lot of nouns, don't we? I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm an HR consultant, I'm a teacher, I'm a parent, I'm a, whatever. But here I asked my subscribers instead to look into the mirror and only use adjectives to describe themselves. You may just be really surprised about who you find in that mirror, because that'll be the real you. Really think about it. Spend some time doing it. And if you can't do it now, do it when you get a moment. Try and carve out 10, 15 minutes. Don't rush it. And really see who is sitting at the other side of the mirror, because that's what we'll be projecting to the world. Do let me know what your outcomes are. You can email me, so I'll leave my email address on here. And also, if we haven't already connected on social media, let's do it. I sometimes can be found on Facebook, mostly on LinkedIn, but I'd love to meet you there. And always do sign up to the monthly musings of the Hygge Heart, because that's where I start sharing the first inklings of what we're going to be talking about. But until then, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again.